Let's jump into it. All right, timer's starting. Let's go. Topic 1, biggest winner and or loser from college football week 1, or the biggest overreaction from the weekend. There was a lot of things that took place this weekend. We had a lot of good matchups. There was a lot of surprises. There were some shocks, whatever. So just, let's talk about it. It can be a single player, maybe a group of players, maybe one side of the offense. It could be an entire team, maybe because of rankings that just dropped today, a single coach. Maybe it's because of you, because maybe you lost a bet. Who is the biggest winner and or loser from college football week 1? Tyler, how about we kick it off to you first? In your opinion, who is the biggest winner and or loser, or what is the biggest overreaction from this weekend?
This is a two-parter.
Okay, we like two-parters.
One, because I'm sitting in the seat, so I got to take a shot at somebody. So
Okay.
you're going to get the first shot. So,
Whoa.
The biggest winner and loser, that's Hawaii football. Because they won, then they lost. There you go.
That's what we do.
Not undefeated, not winless. There you go.
That's what we do.
Hey, Parks. Biggest loser is definitely Bill Belichick's girlfriend, because she I think she was late for school today, because I feel like Bill was very, very heated last night after that loss. So she might have missed her first class or the school bus. I don't know. I don't know if he takes her to school or not.
I love the show.
This is diabolical. Oh my Lord.
This is that's gotta go on the intro.
The biggest winner is ATFS, and that is because we are no longer Florida State, and Florida State is back on top.
No,
so,
well, hold on. We're still a very anti-Florida State
well,
show.
If they keep winning, we can't say it. So who's going to be the first?
I'm going to probably be the one to crack. I'm allotting like maybe an F-bomb once a show. So I'll probably be the one to crack and deliver that F-bomb. But
a little later on.
Yeah, a little later on. Let's try to get it past the first few minutes of the show, Tyler. Let's follow back up to that a couple weeks ago. Let's try to wait a little bit before we drop an
Maybe 9 minutes. Huh?
Maybe 9, maybe 10. I'm not sure. Ricky, what about you? I mean, who is the biggest winner or loser, or what is the biggest overreaction from the weekend for you?
So I'll just give you, this is the easiest question on who the biggest winner is, and it's definitely Florida State. And the reason why it's Florida State is because we saw what Florida State did last year. They were a 2-win football team last year, and they went in and they beat a team. And I understand that this is DeBoer's second season, but this is also the same DeBoer who cried like a little baby because Bama didn't get in the playoff last year. Now you understand why Bama didn't get in the playoff last year. So I think the biggest winner by far is Florida State. The biggest loser by far is Alabama, because Alabama is now on this little tear of going away from Nick Saban. Of course, Nick Saban, hopefully retired, whatever the case may be. And now you're stuck in a situation with a coach that you shouldn't have hired to begin with. I don't care what his record. I understand how his records look. I understand that he's been like this miracle worker of a coach who has come aboard. Wherever he's gone, he has been able to have success. I get all that, but you've never seen him have long-term success. That's kind of where I think the push comes to shove when it comes to hiring coaches. If you want to put someone else that's on top for this weekend, I put LSU up there, because LSU had a big win against the Clemson team. Their offense looked really good. Their defense looked really good. And then obviously, and I'm not going to take Jacobs because I know who Jacobs is going to be here in a minute, but I won't say Ohio State. Let's just put it that way. I won't explain Ohio State. I'll let Jacob explain that one. So give me Florida State as the biggest winner, Alabama's the biggest loser, and then I would put LSU on top. I think LSU has a very good chance of winning the SEC.
Ooh, okay. All right. We love to hear it. We love to hear it. Now, Jacob, is he giving you that easy layup? Is that where you're going with things, or are you going in a different direction?
That's not where I was going at all, actually.
Okay. All right.
I was actually going to go a completely different route than what you guys were thinking that I was going to do.
Well, I mean, you are an Ohio State guy, so.
Biggest winner is the Tennessee Volunteers for dodging that bullet that was Nico.
Oh, that's a good twist.
They have an absolute stud at quarterback.
With Joey?
Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Hey.
Biggest loser?
I was going to say, in my college football dynasty last year, the first one I did, Joey won the Heisman at Appalachian State. I'm just saying.
App State, what?
Yeah. He won the Heisman at App State in my dynasty last year. in college football 25. So it's destiny. He's going to win the Heisman this year with Tennessee.
I'm gonna add on
shout
to
out
that
to
real
that.
quick. My dynasty last year, Gio Lopez won the Heisman, and you see what happened to him and Bill.
Well, you know what? Different year. Okay. Different year. All right, Jacob, continue.
Biggest loser, Boise State. They go into this
Oh my
season
God.
trying to regain and reload. They're out. They're out. One game into the season, they're already out of the conversation. We don't even need to worry about them. They're not going to be in the college football playoffs this year. Abysmal outing by them, by the Broncos.
Fact.
Yeah, no, that was abysmal. Now it brings the question: is who is already the leader for that group of 5 to take that playoff spot? Like right now, after week 1, who would be that potential leader? Is it the simple Giovanni Do Better Tulane Green Wave, or is it someone else? Because I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to be Boise State.
It's honestly between I would say Tulane's up there. Obviously South Florida's up there, but I still think there's a MAC school that could potentially squeeze in there
Yes, sir.
between Toledo and Ohio.
Yeah.
Even though they lost week 1, I still think there's room for them to regain momentum.
Right. And I will say USF is going to be one to watch, man. I said that during predictions. Byron Brown, he's back. He's healthy. They got a starting receiver back. The one thing about USF that, that's going to have to be watched this year is just their defense, because their defense last year was not great. But, obviously we saw what they did against Boise State. So it's like we can keep up that momentum all year long. USF could potentially be that team. Man, I would say the biggest loser for me, the more that I thought about it, and it's the biggest loser in a temporary sense, right? This is like, the question is, who was the biggest loser from college football week 1, right? For me, it's Arch Manning. Like that's the week 1 biggest loser for me because of all of the hype that's going into this game. I understand it's Ohio State. I get it. But I think everybody expected some better play from the, going into the season, absolute #1 Heisman winner. Regardless if you agree with that or not, these are the narrative and statistical and betting odds facts. So to go out and have the outing that you did against a good Ohio State defense, yes, but it's not even like you went out and played like an absolute superstar against that great defense. You played like a quarterback, an average quarterback. Now, granted, this is a very temporary biggest loser. Give it a week. Give it 2 weeks. Give it 3 weeks. Not going to be a big deal. Won't be the biggest loser in the future. This is strictly a week 1 deal. Biggest overreaction, that's one I've kind of gone back and forth on, because the question is, I've kind of brought it to Bill Belichick, and I've brought it to UNC. Is it the biggest overreaction that Bill's not cut out for college after 1 game? Like, is that an overreaction or not? Because I've been racking my brain on this, and when it comes to college and NFL, right, we have seen a long list of coaches go from college to NFL and not succeed. We've seen some go from college to NFL and succeed. But the opposite vein, we haven't seen it happen that often throughout history. Like the most recent one that I can think of was Lovie Smith, who was primarily NFL coach and then went down to the college ranks and didn't ultimately succeed. There are some others that you could technically try to bring up. Like some people like to bring up Bill Walsh. I disagree. He started at Stanford for 2 years, then went to 49ers, and then went back to Stanford. So I don't count that. Primarily people usually start at college and stuff, but it kind of brings up that question: is it an overreaction to say Bill Belichick is not cut out for college? I don't know, because like you could also look at this team of where it's like, well, it's not Bill's team. It's not Bill's team. He's still building the team. Yeah, he is still building the team, but at the same time, he got 30 high school recruits and 41 transfer portal. So it's like, these are guys that he did pay and bring in. But I think it is like an adjustment to the speed of the game, because they are different speeds of the game. I'm not saying college is faster than the pros or anything, but there are different levels of the game. So is it an overreaction to say that Bill Belichick is not cut out for college? That's where I think it's out for debate at the moment of a we'll see. Maybe if we have another week like this, I would say so, but I will say not a promising first week. The first drive was electric. After that, it just that's a beatdown. That's a beatdown from a very subpar TCU team at that.
Well, I'm going to disagree with that last part that you said, because I think this TCU team's going to be a little bit better than what we thought they were going to be. You just mentioned it, though. They have 70 new players.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Yep.
That's an entire team.
That's a flip.
That's tough. And he has not had them very long.
Yeah.
Let's remember that. He has not had them very long. And remember what we said. Remember something that I said at the very beginning of the season. One thing that's really going to help the teams this year are the teams that have experienced players coming back to their program. North Carolina has none. They have 70 brand new players to a program. So if he's able to maintain some of these top players while recruiting and bringing some good ones in, he's basically starting from the scratch. If you think about it, he's starting from scratch right now.
Right.
So it's going to be tough. So to say that, I don't think 1 year we're going to be able to determine if he's cut out for it. It
Right.
might be year 2 and maybe year 3 if he lasts that long. The dude's 80,000 years old. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, in general, I think we need to like pump the brakes on that, because I agree with you. It's more of an overreaction
Yeah.
than it is anything. I think he'll be fine eventually. We just got to see what he can do in the long run. This is one game we're talking about. No one cares about one game.
Right. See, that's where I've kind of
with brand new players.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I've kind of been going back and forth on, is that we are only one game in, right? Like, I understand you got for the most part, people he wanted and his guys in there, but it is like, I mean, if you have 30 freshmen plus 41 whatever new transfer portal, got to get them all meshed together. Haven't had them that long, so I think it is right now like an overreaction, right? I think that's the kind of the direction that we're going to be going with this. And as for me, the biggest winner of the weekend, since Jacob didn't want to talk about it, I will. It's Ohio State. I mean, like, look, this Ohio State team was one that was going to come in and, you know, reload, right? That's what Jacob said last week. Reload. This is Penn State's time, blah, blah, blah. Reload. And they came in and they beat the number 1 team in the country. A team they beat in the playoffs last year, yeah, but that was also a different Texas team they beat in the playoffs. And they beat this new Texas team in the regular season week 1. Ohio State, biggest winner of the weekend, man, for sure. I'll go ahead and say that up front. Definitely not going to say the Canes. I'll tell you that. Definitely ain't going to say that right there. I'm not gonna. I ain't diving down that rabbit hole, and I'm definitely not going to shout out Florida State. I'm not going to go that. Although
You just did.
I do love all the reactions from Bama fans. It's 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
This is a long time coming.
I still can't stand Gus Malzahn though, so we're scrapping that part. All right? Scrapping that part.
Fair.
Still can't stand him.
That's fair. You know, and now that we've started to really see the downfall of the Bama Empire, Georgia, you're next. It's like I can't wait for the Georgia Empire to fall one day too.
Yeah. It's not only just the Bama Empire; it's the SEC Empire in general.
Right.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's coming crashing down quickly.
Yep.